This is Finals Footy on Fox, brought to you by Industry Super Funds. When it comes to super, there is only one symbol to look for, and an 84-point demolition by the Cats. They were extraordinary, really right from the opening bounce. They have booked a home preliminary final and the week off. Jason Dunstall, David King, Joey Montana, that was a super impressive performance.
Couldn't have been any better from a Cats perspective. They are the consummate professionals. They know how to get the job done. They work hard, they're disciplined, they're committed, and they don't take no for an answer. And they played 4 brilliant quarters against a team that, again, has left more questions than anything with that performance.
I want to stay with Geelong for a minute, okay, and celebrate what they've been able to do. 38 scores. Yeah. I can't remember a final with that number for a long, long time. That's a huge score. I thought if there were going to be a game like that tonight, you're probably thinking, oh, maybe Port's midfield got on top and ran riot. I think this has been an unbelievable performance, largely off the back of 3 or 4 star factor players, and we'll get to those guys in a minute, but this is not really about the coach. It's about discipline. This team, they come single-minded, real focused that they had a plan, and they executed that plan unbelievably tonight. And now, none of us thought they were a danger for the flag, Jason, but you would have to think, Joey, that they're right there. They're in the mix with this scoring power.
It was clinical. It was clinical what they did tonight, and Chris Scott has been saying all year it's the team that peaks at the right time. Maybe they are just peaking, because everything he has touched has turned to gold this year for Chris Scott. The way they've managed Dangerfield, the way they've brought in Lawson Humphries and made Shawnee Manor earn his spot. They stuck with Reece Stanley. They went with Jed Buse. Whatever he's done this year, it has been the team selection tonight, not to play Stewart and De Koning and give them a couple of extra weeks, and to go with the guys that have done it. Like they are ticking every single box. It's been clinical. It's been, as you said, the ultimate professional at side. It's now their 9th prelim in 14 years under Chris Scott. 9 prelims in 14 years. It's remarkable, and the way they played tonight, good luck trying to stop them.
And I think it's 13 in the last 18 years. So they're just doing it year after year. I'm sure Bombers fans in the last 20 years would be
Don't
crying.
go there, Sarah.
But if you have a look at the way they've done it tonight, it was emphatic. I mean, this is a hostile arena. It was full of Port Adelaide fans. They had to silence the crowd early, and they're able to do that. They're now only 2 wins away from a premiership. It's so unlikely, but they're doing so well.
Yeah, they just came here prepared to work hard. They ran hard, they attacked the contest, they put pressure on the opposition, and they ran both ways. They were the first to get back when Port were going forward, and they were first to get goal side when they had the ball in attack. So I thought it was a supreme effort. And what I love about the Cats is everyone contributes.
Well, the way that he gets the maximum amount of role players. This is what the game has become, isn't it? You've got your 4 or 5 stars, and everyone's trying to set the game up for those guys at every team, regardless of who they are or what colours they wear. And then you try and get the rest to not cost you the game effectively. How Chris is able to get the scoring power around the edges from these half-forwards and the clinical nature in which they were able to do it tonight is quite frightening, really.
Yeah, well, there's always talk about weaknesses and their weakness in the midfield, and maybe a bit of an ageing defence, but their biggest point of difference is their small forwards. That has been their threat all year, and again, we saw it on full display tonight. The way that when that ball hits the ground, the way they slingshot, Kingy spoke about it pre-game, that is their biggest threat, and you need to have the defenders that can match them and go with them, because if you don't, they're going to continue to pile on a score.
And they did it without one of their absolute best players, with Tom Stewart, a late withdrawal. That's extraordinary.
Well, I think it just preaches system again, doesn't it? I mean, when he spoke to us in the pre-game, I must admit I was taken aback with the confidence in which he said, if we do this, this and this, we will expose their vulnerabilities. Now, I don't hear of a coach talk like that on the road, in this environment, up against a strong team in Port Adelaide, and they just dismembered them. It was brutal all night for 120 minutes. And I don't know, the other coach's box lost for answers. What did they really do to shift the course of this game? What did they really do when it was on the line early?
And as a player, when you believe your coach, when you know what he says is going to pan out, you just have a confidence about you. And that's what it looked like with this Geelong group. Even coming out to the race pre-game, they had an air of confidence that was portrayed. We mentioned the body language of the coach, and he had that and oozed it, and the players played with it. And you're right, Port Adelaide just didn't have any answers. They've got no plan B. They try the same thing every single week, and when it works, it looks great. When it doesn't, it's been exposed. That's now their 4th finals loss in a row, and some bad pummelings in finals. You know, they've already had a 70-point loss. Last year it was a 48 and 23-point loss, and now an 80-point loss. Like, when they get beaten in finals, it is bad because they don't have anything else to go to. Their body language looked poor. at half-time, and then they played like it in the second half. But full credit to the Cats. They made Port Adelaide play like that.
A 100th game to remember for Close, a great milestone, but all attention now for the Cats in a fortnight at the preliminary final, and to do it at the MCG, such a big advantage, Jace, to be on home soil. I mean, it didn't worry them tonight, but to be able to do that prelim at the MCG and then one more win and you're in the decider.
Yeah, you battle hard all season to secure your top 4 spot, and then if you're good enough to win that first one, you then have home ground advantage for the prelim. They've done that. They'll go back and plan for the next couple of weeks, and they're so good at planning their campaigns and peaking at the right time, as Joey was talking about before.
Triumphant scenes in the Cats' rooms, and you think Tom Stewart obviously comes back in if his hamstring is okay. De Koning still to come in, and then there's Tom Hawkins and Guthrie that trying in the weekend in the VFL to press their claim for selection. There is pressure on spots in this team, which is exactly what you want, David King.
Well, I'm still not buying the flu, I must admit, Sarah. I'm still not signing off
Fair.
on whether that is absolutely fact or not. And I guess you don't have to disclose at this stage of the year. Maybe you've earned the right to keep a few things secret and let that out-of-town advantage work for you. If you're not going to go and watch some train and not be across it, then you're going to be caught by these sorts of things. I think he's got some hamstring trauma.
Okay, but worst case scenario, say he doesn't play again this season. There's nothing to suggest the Cats can't win the flag, given what we saw tonight.
No, well, it's just such an even year, and we've just been disappointed when you put yourself on the line to go with the team, Jason. You're just going to let yourself down. But they have got star factor players that play 9 out of 10 footy every week. It's awesome.
Yep.
Joey, do you reckon Eddie was just having a quiet word to Jeremy Cameron there about nailing a goal from the
Eddie
pocket?
said. He said, not a bad goal, Jezza, still not in my top 10. That's what Eddie just said to Jeremy Cameron.
Rightio. We will find out. All right, we're going to have a look at some highlights now with thanks to a Ford F-150, and there were some big plays tonight, and, well, none bigger than the captain, Patrick Dangerfield, who was excellent all night. He really led by example, and he was just in the contest from the get-go.
Well, he showed up, didn't we? And we expected him to show up. We knew he would. He's been primed and being trained to the minute, really, for this final series. And we saw him in 2022 do something similar, where he had that short campaign and then had one of the final series of all time. And then now the grand final, you look at it here, he was just... He's got his explosiveness. We've seen it for the last 6 weeks. He's hungry, he's determined, and he's still playing some elite football.
He's still the king.
Still the king.
I don't care what anyone says. He comes into this house tonight, and all the talkers, Butters, Horn Francis, Rosie, what chance you got? He says, hey, I'm at this level. Come and get me. What do you got?
Their midfielders look pedestrian at times this season, but I think when you put Holmes and Dangerfield back in there, it's a very different look and feel about it. And they got on top early and they never looked back. And all of a sudden the confidence of everyone, the ability to link up, everything they did worked beautifully. It was a really strong performance from their midfield. And you're right, against the strength of the opposition.
I think all your fragility, all your areas of concern are exposed in finals like this, aren't they, Jason? You know, defensively, I know their numbers read well, but are they absolutely at the pointy end of the competition, Port? We've had our doubts for weeks, and when the game is allowed to be played at speed like that against them, it's so difficult to defend. I just wonder whether they have enough defensively geared midfielders when the tide's going the other way.
That has always been the scouting report against Port Adelaide. If you turn them around and go the other way, do they run as hard as they do when they get the game on their terms? And as you said, your vulnerabilities get exposed in finals, and we saw that tonight from Port Adelaide. Nowhere
to hide in finals football. Max Holmes, right from the opening minute, he set the tone and he really got them firing early. His metres gained, I'd love to know his numbers over the entire season, because he has carried the ball further than anyone. Yeah, that's what he does. He's a 60-metre player, and you combine Dangerfield and his metres gained, it was almost 1,500 metres gained between the two of them. So that's the power you get with their ability to break the lines, their run and carry, and then their kicking penetration. He was sensational. He played in the midfield. They didn't need him across half-back. They had Lawson Humphries and Duncan and a few others doing that sort of role. And
He was terrific again. He's had a wonderful season. I thought he was really stiff. I had him in my All-Australian team. I just think he'll probably win their best and fairest in a team that he's now in a prelim. That's how good a year he's had.
This is the one I love, Joey. He's such a strong runner. He's got Butters running flat stick trying to catch him. But he's still got the composure to bounce and carry and not worry about it and still deliver the ball forward. This man is built on power, isn't he?
You're doing a tremendous job to stay calm here, Jason, too, with some feedback in the background. But look at the scores from clearances when you talk about those guys. 19 scores to 5 from clearance. I don't know if I've seen a mauling like that.
69 points against Port, their second worst return for the year.
Yeah, well, it's a huge number at this stage of the year.
And their defence was going so well coming into this clash. All right, let's head down into the victorious rooms. Eddie Betts and Mark Rasciuto are standing by. Guys.
I'll tell you what, they are all smiles down here, and not surprising. I mean, that was a complete performance, Ed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And before the game, Tom Stewart going out, you think, this is going to be a tough one for Geelong. But to win by 84 points over here, it's a hostile environment. To come over and play like that, a full package game, it was awesome.
Super start. They were super clean, and the forwards just benefited. They all had a night out, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And Manning played really well. Their small forwards started like a house on fire. And as you guys were talking about, their slingshot from D50 to forward 50 was unbelievable. Their set shots, though, they need to work on. They didn't.
You had a chat to Jeremy. What did you say?
So if I stay out of my pocket, bro. He said 1 week too late. 1 week too late. Because I told him, man, that's goal of the year. Unbelievable. Great kick. The way you can get it to bend like that, around, opposite, away from goal, under pressure. It was. You won't see many of those.
Yeah.
Here we go. We just watched this. So he just comes in here behind right now, and you never think he's going to kick this. Right now, he's bumped under pressure to get it to bend around like that to come back. That's a difficult kick, and
it's nearly impossible.
But everyone's loving it. But he actually said 1 week too late. 1 week too late. So
look, they are absolutely pumped. They're just coming out of the rooms now. We're going to catch up with a couple of players shortly.
Roo, just want to ask your opinion for a moment on Port Adelaide and the reaction you expect here in South Australia, how brutal the fallout will be given that it was a straight sets exit last year and, well, Kenny's been under pressure at different times this season.
Yep. Look, they're not going to like it. They've lost their last 4 finals now, and this is the best preparation they've had coming into a game. They've actually been playing the best footy I've seen Port Adelaide play for a long time. So I was, like many people in South Australia, I thought they were going to be very, very hard to beat tonight. So this is really going to rock them. The Cats have really put one on their chin.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see the fallout in the next couple of days, and they've got to regather and regroup really quickly, Joey, and it would have been good to see them come out and win the final term or come out and do something different or respond just to carry a little bit of momentum into next week.
Yeah, it's going to take an amazing coaching effort now from Ken Hinkley to get this group up again. You can see the body language there. I mean, this will dent them, no doubt. This will give their ego, will take a hit, because when you get beaten like that, you start to have little doubts. You start to wonder, are we good enough? How good are we really? And, you know, what was this performance tonight? And they'll be looking around at teammates and looking at where it went wrong. So they've only got 6 or 7 days to butter up and have to go again. They've still got a chance in this season. Their season is not dead, but they're going to have to play much better footy than they did tonight. Yeah,
they've earned the double chance, but they certainly look shell-shocked at the moment. All right, Kingy, your favourite topic of the night, the small forwards, because they were awesome.
Yeah, they are. They're so hard to contain, aren't they? I mean, their ability to get forward, to play their plan, it's not gambling. It's really not. They know that their team's trying to get the ball over the top and out the back, to grass if you can. Don't allow the opposition to mark the ball. Just have a look there, just how quickly they react. It's brilliant to watch, and it happens in real time every time. So when they spit forward like that, they get easy opportunities, uncontested more often than not. And Port Adelaide, I felt for their defence at times, but they were their own worst enemies. How many times we see this, Jason? Just strolling to the Geelong end of goal and easy slipping out the back opportunities into the goal square. I know he's a young player, Evans, but it's just got to be better than that.
They also trouble you with their leg speed because they're all quick. Every one of them has genuine leg speed, whether it's Stengel or Myers or Close, even Manor. They've all got good leg speed and they get separation. And as soon as you give them separation, they're too good.
So what's Bergman doing there? I mean, has it been drilled into them that this is what Geelong are going to do? Absolutely be ready for this. Be on high alert because they're going to want to get forward. You've got to be there to arm bar. If you're not there when they turn, they should see your full jumper. And if they don't, then they're going to get forward. I just think they've either had a really poor preparation with their planning, or this group of back 6, 7, 8 players haven't been disciplined enough to perform what Ken's asked. Either way, I don't think they recover from this. I think their season's come to an unfortunate and really disastrous finish.